Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Buboltz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it, so let's dig in. When you look at one-on-ones and just viewing one-on-ones from an HR perspective, it's more on tactical type of things. It's updates. It's where is this project up? It's why are we over budget? And sometimes it even turns into a venting session. So making sure that leaders or people who host one-on-ones are trained on facilitating meetings so they can reroute those venting sessions into constructive type of conversation so that they know what an emotional outburst means. And again, how to navigate what is the real root cause of why this is happening. Making sure that they're giving time to active listening and giving feedback, feeling comfortable giving that feedback so that it's not just always positive. It can be constructive without being negative. Training them to do those type of core conversation skill sets is going to aid them in their one-on-one conversations. Now, if you're shifting away from tactical, what are in one-on-ones? What's essential for one-on-ones? First thing I would say is an agenda, because it turns into a vent session really quick, especially when people haven't had an outlet to have that one-on-one conversation or have like a more small group conversation with someone. It can become a vent session. So having timed tasks within the agenda to keep it on time and focus will keep it more constructive. And why people hate meetings, why people hate giving time to these is because they're not effective, they're not productive. So when we can move away from the tactical, could have been an email type conversation into value add type of agendas, you actually get momentum and meeting out of one-on-ones. So that would be the first essential, is agendas with time tasks in it. So that if you stay too long in tactical, that you regroup and get on to the more meaningful conversation. The second thing would be focused on coaching. We like to stay in tell. Have you tried? Have you talked to? What have you done? I've done it like this. And that keeps it in robot mode. That keeps people out of autonomy, creative thinking, not super innovative. And so moving into this coach will get them thinking in their own brains, that critical thinking steps that they need to do in which they already have the information. They just need to navigate through it instead of telling them what to do, because the brain likes easy. So if you tell them what to do, guess who owns it? You. And if you keep telling them what to do, they stop thinking and they just keep coming to you for information. That's exhausting. So shift the workload to the people that you hired, the talented and value add assets, your employees. So a majority of time should be spent in that coaching time frame. How are you removing hurdles in their own brain? How are you removing hurdles, giving them support to go on their mission, into their project development, into their growth? And doing that will shift that ownership from you to them. Spending the majority of time in coaching is also gonna have long-term gain. So you're gonna shift a lot of those questions that keep coming up and seems like they're not stepping into it, into them owning it. They're excited to do it. They feel like they're in control. They feel like they have the skill set and resource to do it and move forward. So short-term pain for long-term gain in the coaching field. Now, another part or essential in the one-on-one that you want to focus on is reviewing action items from beforehand, or those things that seem like they're slipping through the cracks. And I think that one-on-ones have been so focused on tactical in the now that they forget that when you step back for coach, you can see the trends that are happening. You're seeing certain things they're avoiding. Maybe it is conflict. Maybe they're avoiding certain functions or tasks or working with a certain department. And when you step back to that coach mode and start asking questions of why things aren't happening or why this continues not to be a focus, you can figure out the root cause of why this might be avoided or the dysfunction in the process that's happening. And that will also help you assign closeout follow-up items to close out the meeting. Now, to get you to shift from this tactical mindset in your one-on-ones over to coach mode, I want you to think about some motivational, some trust, value add type questions that you can insert into your one-on-ones. Here's a few that you can use. What are favorite parts of your job that you like working on and why? Another great question is, what job duties do you find really challenging and where do you see the gap? Is it in process, product, or people? Again, it gets them to focus, oh, I would like to go to this class course or work with this mentor that's really good at it. And it gets them to see the value in closing that gap versus you telling them that they need to close that skill set gap. Let's do 2 more questions. What areas or guidance do you need from me? And that's going to seem weird when you first ask that. You might get silence. You might get people to say, no, I'm good. But I want you to keep asking that. And you'll find in like 3 or 4 sessions, they'll start to ask for help or support. And it's in things that they do like every day. And I was shocked when I practiced this in HR, what people would say. They would say, yeah, I'm having a really hard time with Tony. You know, he walks all over me. He dumps his workload on me. I try to navigate away from it, but it just always ends up on my desk because I'm extremely passive. Whoa. Okay. So what guidance can I give them? Okay. Coach mode gives them some guidance, not how I would approach it, but ask them some questions of, well, take me through a discussion that you have with Tony. How would you do it differently? Do you see how I'm not really telling them what to do? I'm not inserting any detail. I'm in coach mode, asking them to pick through their brain and critically think, how would I do it next time? So that's a great question in which will evolve into great value add discussion as that relationship builds and you continue asking these questions. All right, last question. What areas of your job would you like less involvement from me? And this is a good check-in for the leader because I think sometimes we step up too much thinking we need to lead. And sometimes the team is ready for you to step back. And that's where you really get to see team momentum and energy, and that workforce energy management that I keep talking about is when the team gets so skilled at adapting that they become that agile team that can navigate with ease and ask for help when it is actually needed. Again, moving from micromanagement to coaching. If you're looking for a great tool to use for your one-on-ones, I want to suggest trying out the 30-day free demo of my talent planner, because not only is strategy linked to talent, linked to execution and meetings, but your one-on-ones are right in there. And they have time agendas. They have templates that you can use. You can even put value add questions right in there so you don't have to seem like you're scrambling or don't know what to do. It's right there in the one-on-one meetings. And then when you do follow-ups, you assign owners. So that goes right back to their dashboard. So these trends and behaviors that you're seeing don't fall through the cracks. In my talent planner, it's all automated too, so that you can have the employee prepping for the one-on-ones versus always the leader driving it. We want the employees in the power seat for these one-on-one conversations. The leader is there purely for coaching. One-on-ones don't have to be grueling. They don't have to be just another update. They can be part of your professional development on your team. They can be part of establishing that workflow and productivity optimization across departments. That can be working on these workforce energy management factors of navigating in the right direction and enhancing that expedition, that communication across departments. That can be building team trust and synergy. And instead of your boss being the number one reason why people leave, it can be the number one reason why people stay.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focus on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.